It's, seeing out all that at a young age just kind of sparked this sort of this effort to just start really showcasing my journey. I think being a creative is really showcasing your journey, right? It's like, so I started with YouTube, which Hollywood Unlocked posted, and I would just post covers, I would post Q&As, I would just interact with who my fans were. If it was 500, if it was 1,000, then it started to grow. And then, you know, and it all just turned into this career after a while, but it really just started with just me in my room. I had my little solar system wallpaper in the background, and I would just like sing these songs. And then when I moved to Atlanta, I became a little more open for other things. Like film opportunities came my way, but I wasn't really sold on it because I was just like, I want to do music, I want to do music. But I think another part about being a creative is being uncomfortable, right? So when I moved to Atlanta, I started getting into these acting classes, and I started to get nervous, and I started to, I don't know, my voice was shaking a little bit. I'm learning monologues. I hated to read, but I had to read as an actor, you know, so that's most of what I do, you know, outside of the film set. So it's it just forced me to stretch, and I think we're capable of so much more than what we think. Sometimes we close our doors. We may get an opportunity like, no, I don't want to do that. I'm cool. I'm doing this. But that next opportunity may be your next chapter in life. I love what Dame Dash said. He said, once you conquer a dream, it's time to conquer a new one. You know, so even in this film strike right now, another part about just being a creative and building wealth is real estate for me. You know, I just been building a real estate portfolio slowly but surely, and slowly learning it. And it's nerve-wracking because you're like, oh, this is my money, where my money going? And you know, like, you know, you're trying to make sure you got enough equity. You're putting down this, and you're hearing about all this housing prices and stuff like that. So I'm constantly learning about a totally different industry, learning from different mentors and gurus, and build your mentors. You don't always have to know your mentors. They online, they posting, they being creative. Yeah, you know, I've actually had experiences where an offer may have came in and my team may have felt like it was too low. And for me, you know, I can be a nice guy sometimes, so I would tell them like, hey, let's chill out. I said, let me get on set. Let me show them my energy. Let me show them how I show up on time. I know my lines. And I think that's a big part of it too. Sometimes you just gotta show up and pay your dues because they don't know what to expect. You know, they may see my Instagram page and like, oh, he parties a lot. You know, we don't know yet. You know what I'm saying? So I may get on set and be a totally different professional. I may show up on time and know my lines and be on time and working with all these seasoned actors. So I like to prove myself a little bit sometimes, but I've walked away from a production where a producer may have been a little dry, a little cut and dry, but at the end, he's like, man, I love you. And I'm like, yeah, next time, you know what I mean? Next time we go, but I like to build a rapport, and I think that's another part of building wealth too, is building great relationships. And when you build great relationships, people will pay what you're worth. And they'll see like, oh man, he has great energy. I love working with him. You know, I think that's a big part of all our industries. You know, you may beat out somebody that's more talented than you because you just doper to work with. Your energy's good. You walk in the room and you bright up the energy in the room, and everybody's like, man, I just love being in their presence. So that's a big thing for me as well. And I would say this time around, I totally feel like I'm getting what I'm worth on the film side, because I did have to prove myself. I started out in music, you know. I worked with big actors starting out, but I wasn't getting as much as them. You know, when I out here filming Collateral Beauty with Will Smith, it's Will Smith. You know what I mean? Like, of course, at that moment, I'm like, I just want to be in the movie. It's not that I don't want to get paid, but I'm not gonna worry about pay at this moment. You know, I just know with this when I plant this seed, it will grow. But it can change. It can change. I think it all depends. It all depends on the situation, how many other people are involved in the business, and you can always walk away too and say, hey, this isn't for me. You know, but it's the way you walk away. Make sure you walk away with a smile on your face, and you still connect that bridge.
I have to agree with you too. I don't think for me too, in my experience, it hasn't really mattered because I've dealt with it all and the same. But one thing that is key to that he said I couldn't agree with you more is your presence on set, like at the station, at your place of business, because a lot of the times that interview that you go is like how much they actually just like you. You know what I mean? Like you could be an okay, I don't know, depending on what you're applying for, an okay editor, an okay, they see potential. But if they love your attitude and your presence, I've seen people get the job because of that. And also the way you politely say no and thank you. That's also been very much, because there's times where I've said no to things because they didn't serve me anymore. And I've walked away, and then maybe a year later I've gotten a call back, be like, okay, now we have something for you that'll work for you, So that's really important.
Yeah, I think that's very important.
Yeah, I guess in that space, surround yourself, vet out people, really surround yourself with people you want to align your life with, your career. So whatever that may be, if it's doctor, lawyer, hang around lawyers. Be at the restaurants where lawyers be at. Be at the members only restaurants where lawyers be. I don't know, wherever lawyers be at. But if it's, for me, it was real estate. So I started going online, going on YouTube, and just vetting out people. And I was like, I would watch their channel and look at their subscriptions and look at their comments and watch them go in and out of properties. And then I would link up with people from my hometown. My guy Will Roundtree really just kind of showed me the game. He flew me out to Cleveland. I met this guy named Beyond Win, and he does this thing called Cleveland in training with the pros. So he walks you through a property, shows you how to evaluate it, shows you what's the most expensive things is, and we like walking through like abandoned homes. It's like stuff everywhere. I got nice clothes on. I'm like, I need to put on some sweatpants. This is crazy. But it's for me, it's been just surrounding myself around the right people, and we want to make mistakes to learn, but we want to try to avoid them as much as possible by creating that mentorship sort of circle. And like I said, you don't always have to know your mentors, and you can always reach out to them. This is social media. You never know. They wanna reach back out to you on whatever you want help out on. So I think it's really just surrounding yourself around the right people, because you can't do it alone. You really can't. And you're not strong in every aspect of your life. So you need to bring in people who serve your weaknesses, and so you can make those strengths as well.